Hello, teacher. My name is Milka Correa, and today we're going to talk about the cultural dimensions and the miscommunication. Gonna share my screen. What is cultural dimensions? According to Nesterenko 2021, it is originated by the Dutch psychologist Dr. Gret in the 1970s. This theory is basically to help us understanding the difference between the cultures and the impact that those have in the communication. To create a communication more effectively, there are five dimensions of the culture, or five cultural differences, that in order to speak effectively, to communicate within other cultures, we need to know. Number first, the individualism versus collectivism, which is the cultural values that differ in how a culture prioritizes the individual needs. We have, for example, the individualism. It's more stick to the personal goals, while the collectivism is more about the group's achievements. Number two, power distance high versus low refers to how people in a society perceive and relate to each other. The main difference in here is how they view the power. In the high power distance, there is a person who is the head, while in the low power distance, everyone can speak and can raise their voice. Number three, masculinity versus femininity. It focuses more about the values in a culture. For example, the masculinity is more about the achievement, the ambition, and the competition, while the femininity is more emphasized in the nurture, the cooperation, and the building of relationships. Number four, uncertainty, avoidance, high versus low. It refers to how a culture deal with some situations that they don't know. For example, in the high, they are more strict and stick to the rules, while the low is more open to different changes. Last, number five, long versus short-term orientation. It talks about how our society views the time and then things then prioritize. The long term, they go more through the future to the new things, while the short term is more stuck in the traditional, the present, and the past. What is intercultural competence? It talks about more to the ability to understand all backgrounds around the world and to respect each other and the cultural barriers. Leon 2014, it talked about the role of the intercultural competence. It helps us to enable individuals to understand in order to interact effectively with people from cultural backgrounds. We're going to talk about the differences in communication in the high and low context culture. For example, in the high context cultures we have, they rely on nonverbal communication. They are more about the gestures, they try understanding within a group for less explanation. They are more indirect in the communication. As example for those countries, we have Japan or China. Low context cultures, they are more direct and clear. They rely on spoken words. They expect individuals to explain their ideas. We have the German and the US. Here we are going to share some reasons that can lead to miscommunication during cross-cultural encounters. For example, when a representative from another culture send a message to another representative, it can lead in a very big problem because this message uh, can go in a failure because it can mean or say something that they didn't mean to. We have another high thing that could be um, when different sociolinguistic norms, in this case conventional rules, are involved, it also can live in misinterpretation of the meaning. For example, how a person say hello, they change the greetings in different countries and different cultures, and they can be seen wrong. We have some links between cultural dimension and cross-cultural communication. According to the EIA in 2014, understanding those communication styles, high context and no context cultures can help us to communicate, to send a message more effectively. Is in order to know all those things, also to have in mind the time orientation. Those different perception of time that different cultures develop, uh, while knowing that, while understanding those, it can help in order to be respect and responsible. The power design where the subordinate voice and not and count. So why exists a need to develop those intercultural competence in EFL students? First, the global communication. We know English as a lingua franca. EFL students are likely to interact with speakers from various cultural backgrounds. This can lead to intercultural competence and help us to win some different skills to create interactions effectively and also reducing misunderstanding. Another one is the cultural awarenesses. When we understand those different cultures, those different values and norms, it can help us to promote empathy and respect that is essential for building those type of relationships. It also can lead to social integration that for a student living in multicultural societies, it can help them to integrate fully into other communities. And on this way, they can facilitate social connections. It can help also to enhance language skills by being in those areas or by developing their cultural competence. That could be different expressions and humor, different slang and idioms. It can help that the communication goes more natural and effective. Why the knowledge of cultural dimensions and development of cultural competence is important for EFL students? Related to what we saw previously, it can also develop critical thinking. In this way, it can help students to analyze and to engage with different cultures, um, be open-minded, and know different viewpoints. It can also help to professional opportunities in this world that is global, that is changing. It's good to create those important connections, and it's more important for those industry to hire someone who has some knowledge in intercultural competence because will create effectively communication. Last one, lifelong learning. It can help to develop intercultural competence, encourage mindset, and students will become more open to new cultures and enriching their personal and professional life. Thank you.